It's been a while since I've done a video, and I am taking an online printmaking class, and I learned the very cool technique called packing tape transfers. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do this right now. It's something that you can definitely do at home. The only thing that you need to know if you're doing this at home or anywhere is that the image that you choose has to be printed from a laser printer or a photocopy machine. So I just found these images off the internet of insects, beetles and dragonflies and ladybugs and stuff, and I printed them from my laser printer. I also have a photocopy machine at work, so I can do that. Once you have your image, you can cut it out, whatever size it is, cut off some of the white paper, and then you just need some packing tape, clear packing tape. And then your job with the packing tape is to basically cover this image completely and allow some of the packing tape to go over so that it sticks to the table. It's just easier to manage that way. So I overlap the two pieces of packing tape here just because you don't want any water to get in. And then make sure it's really, really on there. So rub that in, and then once you think it's good, you're going to remove it from the table. Now at this point, if you want to cut off some of this excess white paper, you can, but then you're going to place this into a tub of water, and I put it paper side down, but you basically want to make sure that it's completely submerged. And this has to sit in here for 10 to 15 minutes. While that is sitting, you can plan out what you're going to do with this image once you have it finished. So, for example, I have here, I just for purposes of showing you, I drew a leaf and then I used this process to put this little bug on here. On this one, I kind of made like a card by folding some paper and doing a cute little design. Something that you should know, this I drew the leaf first and put the bug on top. This one I didn't draw anything and left the paper white in the background. Now I could definitely decorate with regular markers or crayons or whatever around this image. I could do a border. Sharpie is very cool because Sharpie will go on top of packing tape. These regular markers that are water-based won't go on top of packing tape. They just won't stay. So if you want to draw or color in your image, Sharpie is the way to go. So let's say I make this beetle have a blue shell, and you know, you can pretty much do any colors that you want on here. I wouldn't use the Sharpie on the drawing paper because it's just not necessary, but if that's what you want to do, you sure can. I am going to now show you, because this beetle has been sitting here for a little while, I am going to show you what happens next, and you may see it already. The paper becomes very soft and pretty much just peels away. So get as much of this paper off as you can. Now this has been sitting for quite some time, so that happened very easily, but yours may not. And all you want to know is that when you're doing this, you're going to use your fingers and gently just rub. And you know, you can rub, for some reason I feel like the circular motion of rubbing sort of takes that paper off where it's being really stubborn. And then every now and then just wipe all those crumbs off, and then I just dip my hand in a little bit of water because as this tape is wet, it's not sticky, but if you keep rubbing and it's very dry, it's going to become a little sticky. So if you're still trying to get the paper off, just keep dipping your hand in a little bit of water. And when you feel like you have most of it, you want to make sure your hand is dry, and you want to kind of dry off some of the moisture. Now, I usually use a piece of newspaper because newspaper isn't as sticky as like paper towel is. This is pretty wet still, so I'm gently going to pat this over my image, and I'm going to remove the water this way. See, now you can hear it. It's getting a little sticky and I can feel it. So if it's getting sticky, you don't want to press too hard, but you kind of want this to be as dry as possible so that it's not super sticky, but sticky enough to stick onto your paper. I would probably, I don't have a scissor in front of me, but I would probably cut this off where my tape is bubbling, and then I can stick it right on and just make sure that I rub this in really well so that it sticks. Something that you need to know when you're doing the rubbing of these, of the paper, the ink is sticking to the tape. But if you rub too hard, you will peel the ink off of the tape and then you'll ruin your image. So just make sure that when you're rubbing that you don't rub so hard or use a tool that's sharp to get the paper off, because once you do that, you're gonna rub your ink off. So that's the gist of it, and there are endless opportunities with this type of a thing. You can take words and do this, so if you have quotes that you like, you can do that. You can do your own drawings and then photocopy your own drawings and then do this process, which I love because that's true to your own artwork. But have fun with it, play around with it, experiment and explore, and I hope this was a fun video for you. I know I love this process.